Hello everyone, welcome in. I am Ivy Farrell and today we're playing NITE Team 4, which is a hacking simulator where we learn the tricks of the trade in order to deal with cyber warfare. I don't know on the offensive or the defensive side. I don't know, but I wanted to be a hacker man today. So, let's dive into it. Only thing that I've done so far is created an account and set myself up. I am a rank 1 cadet at this point. Let's dive into it. So, welcome to Stinger OS. Please visit the academy to get your first assignment.
Welcome to Boot Camp, Recruit. I'm Sergeant Wheeler, and I'm here to teach you all you'll need to know to become an elite member of our cyber warfare unit. Your recruitment officer told me you've got a decent head on your shoulders, and I'm here to find out whether or not that's an accurate assessment. I sure hope you don't disappoint. We only take the best at NITE Team 4. NITE stands for Network Intrusion and Technical Evaluation. Your task is to identify, infiltrate, and gather intelligence from computer systems used by enemies of the Black Watchmen. Governments are short on time and resources, so it's up to us to take action. We address imminent global threats that can't wait for bureaucracy. Because we're a covert organization operating outside the rules of engagement that govern our allies, intelligence agencies around the world seek our help. Before we cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war, you have some training to do. Ready for the challenge? Then let's lock in.
Okay, so that's kind of scary whenever you think into it. You just, not waiting for this whole bureaucracy thing, just going and doing things. I mean,
select
you can pretty much go rogue, right?
Basic certification in the panel on your left. That will bring up an information screen on your right. Then click Access Certification to begin training. Good luck, Recruit.
Alright, so let's learn the basics of the operating system. Access certification. Phase 1 ready, phase 2, phase 3, cool.
The Stinger operating system is our own cyber warfare and network intrusion platform. It's a beautiful piece of software built by combining the most advanced open source hacking modules from civilian and military sources. If you've experienced any penetration testing platforms like Kali or Metasploit, you'll recognize similarities. Zoning out already? Okay, I know most of you have the attention span of a goldfish when it comes to basic training, but mastering this intrusion platform is key to becoming a lethal cyber warfare agent in the field. Ready to get started? Let's familiarize ourselves with the Stinger OS menu. If this takes more than 5 minutes, I'll fire our user interface team. Only kidding, it'll be easier to fire you. Less paperwork.
I'm already getting
fired. Each certification is broken up into 3 stages, and your objective will automatically update as we progress. Click Initiate Phase 1 on your left panel, and I'll pass you over to one of our agents to take it from here. Dylan's trained many of our recruits, so you're in good hands.
Appreciate it, Sergeant Wheeler. Let's go talk to Dylan.
Comm check, 1127. Hey,
Hear you,
this is Agent
Roger.
Dylan. I'll be your wingman during training. Word of advice, it's always the know-it-alls who make the biggest mistakes. We can't afford mistakes, so keep a level head. As Wheeler explained, you're starting basic and building up from there. Go to the information gathering menu on your left and launch the fingerprint module. Drag the window around a bit and complete the test by typing the command help. Easy, right?
Okay. Open the information gathering menu. Oh, start training. Open the information gathering menu. Done. Go for the fingerprint module.
Information gathering module initiated.
This module executes an array of attack strategies to help you identify the target, the technology software sitting at the receiving end of specific open port. Fingerprint starts by doing a full port scan of the designated target. As soon as an open port is detected, it will inject a series of commands and probes to identify the technology behind it. If the installed technologies and versions are present in the exploit database, it will be flagged as vulnerable. We'll try to identify the type of technologies behind any active port for the subdomain extranet. Oh, okay, cool. So that's a command going into our window that we'll do the fingerprint. So here they would just want me to, well, drag it around first, just so that I can start positioning things. But we'll leave it right around. and then they want me to just do help. So the list of available commands were fingerprint, exit, and purge. Where fingerprint, they just have it as a port scan, exit is likely a close, and purge is clean everything. Oh, purge. Close all windows in a workspace. And how is that different than help exit? Close the terminal. Okay, cool. No objectives. That was the end of our training 1. Good. Ta-da!
Excellent! You can listen and follow basic orders. That's not as common as you'd imagine. The Stinger OS lets you access resources from other divisions within the Black Watchman. Division 40 is in charge of IMINS, the Imagery Intelligence section, and MASINS, the Measurement and Signature Intelligence. They provide you with satellite feeds and drone coverage during operations. You can access these services at the bottom of your screen. Division 40 is the 4th icon from the left. Click it and enter the following coordinates: 38 latitude, minus 77 longitude. Once you activate the satellite, click the back to globe link to end your task.
Okay, so what they're trying to get us to do is give us satellite feeds and drone coverage with a specific location, 38 latitude, 77 longitude. The objectives is open the drone and imagery module, enter the coordinates, and then go back to the globe. Cool. So, oh, it's down here. The Stinger OS also has a collection of background processes and external services you can leverage during your missions. You can quickly access specific interfaces like the drone and imagery intelligence through the menu at the bottom of your screen. Okay.
Drone and imagery intelligence active.
Please tell me that you're going to remind me that it is 3877? No. What was it? Shoot. 38 minus 77. Damn.
Drone and imagery intelligence active.
Deploying satellite imagery. Oh. Okay. All right. That's... I don't like that we're hacking the Pentagon. I don't think we actually are. Vehicle and device tracking enabled, and cool. So we're back to the globe now, and back to certification.
Nice! Before completing the certification, I want you to check out your agent profile. It's at the top left of your Stinger OS. Change your avatar and return here to finish this certification.
Okay. Customization, Pogs. Let's badge frames, edit, ghost skin, NITE Team foreskin. We'll go with that one. Is there anything else that I can... Is that good? I don't think I actually changed much, but... Oh, shoot. Continue training. Access your agent profile. Good. I skipped through it. It didn't really give me anything. Okay, so it's just I can keep on improving all of that. There's a couple of images that I could use. I kind of want that one, but as you rank up, it seems like you get... different imagery. I don't actually know who any of these people are, but we'll go with it. I kind of like the orange here. Let's go with the orange. Cool. Initial training completed. And XP. Nice. I'm glad I got that dopamine hit. Let's go back. So we got Stinger OS Basics, where we learned how to fingerprint, where we learned how to control drones and change our avatar. Good. Basic operating systems intelligence, potentially? Let's drag the globe to explore all the areas. Is that something that I was actually supposed to do? I don't know. It's giving me options for it. But let's access this certification.
Impressed. Agent Dillon seems keen to train you. He must see some potential. All right, you've completed your first certification. You have another 29 left. You don't need to do it all, but if you are curious, you're welcome to dive in. Not all certifications are about command lines and typing text. Our work also involves other forms of investigation like digital forensics or signal intelligence. We'll learn them soon enough, but you have to master the command line first. It's a standard weapon and a valuable one. Some of this may already be familiar, but it never hurts to recap. Let's start with OSINT. Open Source Intelligence is the act of gathering intel
open
from
source
public
intelligence.
data.
Okay.
Regardless of the nature of your target, there's a strong likelihood they've left a mark somewhere on the internet. Collecting all this public information lets you map a target's network infrastructure and identify its point of vulnerability. Your first certificate will focus on domain name reconnaissance. Domain names save us from having to memorize IP addresses. All we need to do is type in a domain name to retrieve a website or access a service. These domain names are managed by a domain name server, or DNS for short. That's great for us because we can extract data about our targets from these servers. Agent Dylan will show you how to find domain and subdomain names, even if the target didn't intend to make the information public.
Oh, cool. And I know this stuff is real. I don't know how the rest of the game will play out, but they're giving a lot of useful information about just general internet infrastructure stuff.
Man, I love this part. It's fun to see what you newbies are made of and separate the wheat from the chaff. Right, domain name reconnaissance. You'll need the DNS and vhost mapping module, which you'll find in the information gathering menu. The first command you've got to learn is the sfuzzer. Sfuzzer launches a good old-fashioned dictionary attack against the domain name, trying thousands of the most common subdomains used on the net. If you sfuzz a domain name like NITEteam4.com, the dictionary will first try the obvious www before moving on to other subdomains like mail, FTP, or extranet.NITEteam4.com. Each time a domain name answers positively to an sfuzzer request, it will show as active. Since that's all automated, you just need to decide how long to run the dictionary attack. The longer you run it, the more words it tries, and the more potential access points you gain. Remember, the attack always starts with the most common words. 10 to 20 seconds is a good enough benchmark for easy targets. Well, what are you waiting for? You're the one who needs to get certified, not me. Open that DNS and vhost module and launch a 10-second dictionary attack on the domain name NITEteam4.com. If you get stuck, follow the instructions on the terminal.
Okay, so we are now just trying to figure out all of the different parts in front of a website that will give us access to different domain names, I think. At the very least, we can follow instructions, DNS and vhost mapping, get into the terminal,
initiated.
and then we're doing the sfuzzer, going for NITE Team 4. I love how we're hacking the developer's actual website, -T10. So we're getting a 10-second dictionary attack. www is the one that we typically would go to. A test website. HiveMind? Okay. Sure. I don't know why they have a HiveMind domain, but that's cool.
Another way of finding domain names is through a search engine's database, like Google, Yahoo, Bing, and the likes. Ask Jeeves isn't as useful.
Oh god, Ask Jeeves.
Sometimes a search engine will accidentally index a private subdomain because of an oversight, leaked reference, or careless third party. We're here to take advantage of that mistake. I want you to use the OSINTSCAN command on NITEteam4.com and specify a database to look through. To look through Google database, you will type -s google.com. To ask for the first 500 results in the search engine, you simply add -d 500. So, your final command will be OSINTSCAN -s google.com -d 500. If you get stuck, the instruction should help.
Okay, so instead of going after the website directly, you go after basically using Google, since they have indexing of most of the websites. That isn't correct. Launch the DNS and vhope mapping module. I don't know why those are flashing. DNS and vhost mapping.
Gathering module initiated.
OS INT scan. Oh, and they do have tab complete. Team4.com -s Google. So we're checking Google's database and only the first 500 indexes of that. So it'll scan through 500 different results, and then it'll return all of the domain names that oh, and actually we get IP address as well, but all of the domain names associated with NITE Team 4. So we had already found www and test, but I don't think we had the IP address before, but also server code and Apache. Cool. Back to certification.
Excellent work! You know what you have now? The expertise to quickly identify potential entry points in an enemy network. You have the keys to their house. Of course, once you're inside the house, you'll need a new strategy. There's one last trick to the OSINT scan command. Sometimes a server can host multiple domains. Though one domain could be protected, another could be vulnerable. IP addresses are unique numbers that identify internet servers, and if you search by IP, you'll find all domains and subdomains present on that server. This doesn't just locate entry points. It helps discover links between organizations, like a supplier or a sister company that shares the same server. Right, let's finish up. Execute an OSINT scan on our IP address, 98.124.199.93.
Interesting. So instead of going after something that is decently secure, potentially they're putting it on somebody else's server, and I don't know, some high schooler put a project on that server as well, and you can access that server through that high schooler's website to access whatever company. Interesting and scary as shit. This is DNS and vhost mapping again.
Module initiated.
And this one was OS INT scan, same as before, but now using the IP address 0.93-S. Why are we using Bing now? Come on. Bing is always worse. It's always worse. I actually don't know if it's any better nowadays, but it always used to be real bad. It always used to be real bad. But that's what we said about Edge as well, so. All right, so all we got was the test back, so we didn't get anything. Is that saying that they secured it properly? Cool. Certification on using OSINT. Cool. We can either go to advanced OSINT or fingerprinting. Let's keep going with OSINT. Make sure that we can kind of keep going on the one thing that we were just working on.
You're almost there. Only a few more steps until we give you access to more powerful modules. We need to know you're comfortable with the sidearm before handing you a grenade launcher. So let's finish the basics.
Oh, please don't hand me a grenade launcher.
This covers advanced OSINT tactics.
OSINT now? I thought it was OSINT. I don't know. I thought somebody said OSINT before.
Time to play around with the tools you've learned. I've set up various subdomains on NITEteam4.com, and I want you to test out different S-Fuzzer dictionary attacks. You'll notice contrasting results between a 5-second attack and a 20-second one. Follow the objectives to complete the task.
Okay, so use the S-Fuzzer for 5 and 20. So dictionary attack.
Initiated.
S-Fuzzer. Can I? Yeah, I can just tab complete. NITEteam4.com/T5. Cool. So that will find only NITE Team 4 and HiveMind, and then this one should be able to find NITE Team 4, should be able to find HiveMind, should be able to find Test, and then maybe some of the other ones that we found on the Google search, potentially. I know we found Apache at 15. Server. Oh, that was it. We didn't actually find the Apache or any other ones that was on the Google. Okay. Run a 15-second S-fuzzer and a 500 deep.
An S-fuzzer and OS int scan attack. Run both a 15-second S-fuzzer and a 500 deep OS int scan against NITEteam4.com.
Okay. So that was what I was initially doing. Let's run a 15-second S-fuzzer. And that will at least get us test. I don't think it gets us server. And then we're gonna do a okay, good. OS int scan. OS int scan. NITEteam4.com -s Google, not Dougal. .com and a depth of 500. So the difference here is we're probing on our own, whereas Google was already probing these and kind of storing all of that. Also, getting the IP address is pretty useful. Okay, cool. So they can supply different data. Was there one that we didn't? Oh, we found HiveMind and Google didn't find HiveMind. So really, I think what it's just saying is do both, because they're both useful tools that give individual data.
Excellent. Time for a little test. I've hidden the subdomain forums.NITEteam4.com. Use what you've learned so far to find it. It may be a long S-fuzzer or a really deep OS int scan. You might also find it in another search engine's database. Despite what their marketing team says, Google isn't the only one out there. Go for it.
Okay, cool. So if we're supposed to find a specific one, I think having a 30-second scan might add a couple of things to this. But let's first, I feel like just using Google will be the easier one to, like, they've already done the scanning, so this is all pretty linear. But we'll see if Google can get it in its top 2,000 results, just spanning an extra 1,500. Alternatively, yeah, we can use an S-fuzzer to try and see if it's there. Hello, we got it. I don't know at what how many we needed to actually add to that, but yeah. So if you're looking for a specific one, increasing the depth or increasing the amount of time you spent searching, you can do that. But I guess if you're looking for a specific one, wouldn't you already have that and you're just looking for the domain name? I don't know the use of that one, looking for a specific thing, whether that was just the challenge or yeah, I don't know if I necessarily find the utility in that right now. Okay, so let's check the fingerprint module, which the fingerprint was what we used initially, just to get help and things like that. But let's access the certification.
Look how far you've come. Glad to see your recruitment officer was right. It won't be long until we turn you into an excellent agent. Okay, back to work. After you find a network's footprint, you'll need to scan for applications or services which are running on the server. Once you identify them, you'll want to search for any known vulnerabilities you can exploit. Services on a server need to communicate with the internet through a port. In the same way as when browsing the web, your browser connects to an application server via the default port 80. Scanning every possible port is a laborious process, but the Stinger OS comes with a distributed proxy network, using hundreds of servers to return results in seconds. Let's see how well you can find an open port and identify its running software. Agent Dylan will guide you through the explanation.
Okay, so the idea here is instead of one person scanning for a bunch of ports, you have a bunch of people scan for one individual port, and that gives basically just massive speed increases of
Time
multiplexing.
to learn more about our target. Fingerprint commands are pretty straightforward. To scan the www subdomain, type fingerprint www.niteteam4.com. You can enter this command in any terminal to automatically launch the fingerprint module. Also, you can launch the terminal via your information gathering menu. I've put the exact command in your certification objective, so make sure you follow the objectives.
Yeah, we got you. So they want me to go into fingerprinting in order to look for www.niteteam4. Okay. Fingerprint, www.niteteam4.com. The devs really want you to make sure they know, make sure that you know who developed the game. Constantly probing all their servers. I wonder if this is like, if this is just a terminal within the game, or if it exists and it's actually probing their website. I guess we'll see. But okay, so port 80 technology was Apache, which I believe is, somebody's gonna yell at me, but I believe it's Linux, some sort of Linux. Cool. Apache server, there we go.
We're running an Apache server on port 80 for our website. Simple stuff, and thankfully, the fingerprint module didn't identify any vulnerabilities.
No.
Can't have the public face of our organization vulnerable to attack. Anyway, a fingerprint works by testing hundreds of requests for a specific technology and recording the software version that's running, along with its known vulnerabilities. Go ahead and run another fingerprint, this time on test.niteteam4.com. I've set the subdomain up specifically for you.
Oh boy. All right. So same thing except on test. And this one should be vulnerable, I'm assuming, and we'll see what vulnerabilities it comes up with. I don't know what the 3 bars do. Okay, so it's using port 21, port 110, using VS FTPD and POP3. Okay. Let's see if Dylan has any sort of idea about what that actually is.
You'll now realize it's possible for a domain name to have multiple ports. In this case, none of them are vulnerable, but I'm going to give you access to a vulnerable technology. I want you to target the subdomain server.niteteam4.com with your fingerprint module.
Okay, nice and easy. On to the server this time. So multiple ports per domain name, or per domain, and this was server. And let's see if this guy has vulnerabilities. I wonder if the vulnerabilities are just going to show up in the version, saying that it's an older version and so it has some sort of specific vulnerability to it, but aha! Vulnerable. And they're using an old version of MySQL, which is a database that pretty much everyone learns how to do a little bit of MySQL. Ta-da! Certification granted. Perfect. So at this point, before diving into another module, I think it's a good place to stop. We figured out the basics of navigating the operating system, figured out how to go from figuring out what all the domain names are using either a OSINT or a SFUZzer, and then used both of those in order to figure out what IP addresses were, and then we finally learned how to fingerprint a domain that we found through the first two options in order to figure out ports and look for vulnerable servers. So we can now work on exploiting the database, but that will have to wait for episode 2. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate you guys being here. I stream on Twitch 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock 5 days a week, all the weekdays. I appreciate you guys being here, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.